All right, folks, it is 3 minutes after 5 West Coast time. It is 3 minutes after 2 Hawaii time, and it is 3 minutes after 9 over on the East Coast. I think I'm unmuted. I think I might be here. Are you here? It's hard to say. Running late today. My name is Mad Statter. You're here at Chatter with Statter, and today's late running show was a product of poor life decisions upon my part. In my defense, I was doing some work up until about 4:30 this afternoon. Then I had to take a shower, and then I had to set up my show. So I'm pretty proud of what I got done in a very short amount of time, but alas, time management skills is still not my forte today. I don't know why that cracks me up so much, but here I am making myself giggle. That's right. I know my own audience. I know what makes me laugh. And I got myself a comedy routine that is focused all on me. That is correct. Andre, hey, how you doing, my friend? Elaine, good to see you here. All right, yes, there was no little warning coming soon today like I normally do, because I was already running late, and there was no starting soon. We were starting late. All right, I have no idea. We are now broadcasting 1080p source, but I'm not sure if we have the gear. So that's exactly right, Elaine. Nothing but the ha-ha emote pointing in my direction today. Definitely was not my finest hour, but hey, you know, you've got a good take on it, Andre. There is no late, just dramatic entrances. I don't know if I'd call it dramatic per se, more like rushing in, stumbling, trying to figure out whether or not I remembered my keys. But, you know, dramatic or not, it was an entrance, wasn't it? Hey, Dusty32, good to see you here today. All right, well, for those who might not be up to date on everything that is going on in my life, I can tell you right now, it's taxes. Taxes is what's going on in my life as I manage a tax office. And this week, I spent a lot of time doing miscellaneous tax work, which means I did no show prep at all. Okay, that's not really true. I did like the tiniest bit of show prep, like in the 15 minutes right before the show. So, yeah, not a lot of show prep. Hey, Aveda27, good to see you here. It's been a minute. And Kenny from the Cove, how you doing? All right, we've got some people in the house, so let's get this party started. All right, we have got Poppy Shaney in the house and Aveda both are throwing down the good vibes. Poppy Shaney saying, good afternoon, Molly and Chatter crew. You have great shows when you wing it with no prep. Well, I don't know always, but I have found that some of the no prep shows have been some of the wildest, some of the craziest, some of the funnest for sure. So thank you so much for that boost of confidence there. And Aveda, thank you too. It's going to be great. Yes, well, let's hope so, right? Now, I'm not exactly sure. Exactly, Elaine, let it fly. What in the flying fork are we going to do? What are we going to talk about? I'm not sure. That's going to be up to you guys today. But in the meantime, I thought we would watch a little video to help us figure out what the heck it is that we're going to talk about. However, before I show that video, I have to say thank you, Aveda. I'm so glad that you're enjoying my hair today. It's soaking wet, fresh from the shower. A shower I should have taken several hours ago, but alas, at least I don't stink. So for all of you who have smell-o-vision, I actually smell just fine right now. But if we had done a stream a few hours ago, if you had smell-o-vision, you would not have tuned in. You would have changed that channel so quick. That is it. Hey, Carl in Arkansas, how is it with you? Good to see you. Andre, thank you so much for the 400 biddies. Aveda, hours is nothing. Days, well, you know, there might have been days that built up to what we were left with a few hours ago, shall we say. Exactly, Andre. No Tacoma aroma coming from this girl. Not today. And That's exactly right, Kenny. We ain't prepped for that for nothing, and we don't know where we're going. We don't know where we've been, so let's get in and hang on. Get in and hang on is exactly right. All right, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to start the show off some super mellow vibes, a little video. It is a Lono video as per the usual, but this is a longer video than you normally get on Andy's show. When Andy shows a video, this video, it's only the one song, Pule, whereas this is the full, I think it's like 9 to 12 minute long Molokai video, and it's got the 3 songs, Ho'olina, Pule, and I'm not going to tell you what the third song is, because I cannot remember off the top of my head. But by the time the video's over, I'm sure it will come to me, because, you know, we'll have all heard it together. So once again, we want to thank Lono Music for providing A, this video, and B, all of music that you should be hearing right now in the background. I think I've got everything queued up. It looks like there might be background music. And so, what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn off my mic, I'm going to erase my face, and we are going to watch, what are we watching? We're watching the Molokai video. All right, thank you so much.
Molokai nui ahina Hoi mai ka ua E pili ahe ala oe Hoi mai Ahe ala oe Hoi mai Molokai nui ahina Ho meha nau pule o Aina kaya ke a me kuapaka. Please, oh please, bring Aliona home. He puna hele Aliona, aua na I ke kai, paani anona ke ki atu wharf. He aloha no ka ilio au kai. He aloha no ka ilio au kai. Molokai nui ahina. Ho meha nau pule o. Aina kaya ke a me kuapaka. Please, oh please, bring Aliona home. Make au e haoli ia oe E ke aloha Hoa I paani kai papau He puna hele Aliona He puna hele Aliona Molokai nui ahina Ho meha nau pule o Aina kaya ke a me kuapaka. Please, oh please, bring Aliona home. Molokai nui ahina Ho meha nau pule o Aina kaya ke a me kuapaka. Please, oh please, bring Aliona home. Please, oh please, bring Aliona home. Please, oh please, bring Aliona home. Kalau'i o Molokai luna aloha wau ia oe o me hana o pule o me Molokai nui a hina e ola mau e aloha wau ia oe o me hana o pule o e aloha no kaia keia ho aloha kamehameha me wakainana anoha no ko inoa kako kalahui o Molokai luna hei noa no me Molokai nui a hina e ola mau e aloha wau ia oe o me hana o pule o me Molokai nui a hina e ola mau e aloha wau ia oe o me hana o pule o e aloha no makua Denouement o ka lau papa kana aina ke ia aloha no ko inoa kako kalahui o Molokai luna hei noa no me Molokai nui a hina e ola mau e aloha wau ia oe o me hana o pule o me Molokai nui a hina e ola mau e aloha wau ia oe
All right, there we go. One muted mic later, I finally remember to turn it back on. All right, so that was our tour of Molokai, thanks to Lono music from Molokai, and I believe Vic might have been the one driving the car, Vic being the bass player for Molokai IWI Band, that electric side of the Lono sound that some of us have gotten familiar with. If you want to check out Lono's music with a little bit more of an electric feel, that would be Molokai IWI Band, and they have their own YouTube channel, so definitely go check them out. And if you're not interested in anything like what Molokai IWI Band has to offer, there always is the traditional Lono channel, which is, of course, username Kaupe'epe'e. But if you don't know how to spell that, then by all means, just do a YouTube search for Lono music, and it will take you right there. So we want to thank Lono for everything that he has given to Chatter with Statter, and we want to thank Kenny from the Cove for the 100 bits. Super stoked. So, Carl in Arkansas, aloha everyone, you can type now that you're finished stuffing your face. Fantastic. Carl, you know what we're here for. You know what people come to Chatter with Statter for. It's all about the food. What'd you have for dinner? What were you stuffing your face with? I bet you it was something tasty. I don't know if it would be something as tasty as what Andre was talking about with that Queen Emma cake. What, a guava layer? A lilikoi layer, and for those who aren't familiar with lilikoi, that's a passion fruit, and then the coconut layer. Sign me up. We're gonna have to start calling that the Queen Mad Statter cake, because that is all of my favorite Hawaiian flavors. Well, maybe throw in some pineapple and we got it covered, because no need for papaya. Papaya's kind of gross. I don't really like papaya. So if you're sitting next to me and you like papaya, you can have all of my papaya. I will happily share it with you. That is right. All right, let's see here. Whoops, I accidentally just turned on something I did not want to turn on. So, as I was saying before the Lono video, 3 songs in that video. There's Heaven at 131, which you can find at Old Style 5. There is Pule, which is on Old Style 4. And then there is the other one whose name escapes me, that is on Old Style 6. So if you want any of those songs, 4, 5, and 6 are the old style albums of Lonos that you're going to want to get. And you can, of course, get those at lonomusic.com. Download them. He will send you an electronic file where you can download it. Or if you prefer a CD, you just let him know in the instructions when you order. Let's start over again. If you order the electronic download, or it looks like you're ordering the electronic download, and you actually want a CD, when you make the order, in the little note box for making your order, just write in, I want the CD. Please send the CD to this address. Obviously, if you're going to get a CD, Lono is going to need to know your address. So you have to put somewhere in the notes your address and that you want the CD. And then you'll get the CD instead of the electronic download, and it's a beautiful thing. And so, Aveda, you don't like the papayas either, but if Aveda and me and Andre all sat together, we would get Andre's mango, and he would get our papayas. So I think he would probably end up with a better deal, because he'd get 2 people's worth of papayas, whereas we'd only be splitting one of his mango servings. But still, that is a fair trade. I will take mango over papaya any day, and I'll tell you what, every time I go to Hawaii, this happens to me. And I don't know of a good way to tell without taking the taste test. But in a fruit salad, when they're cut up, how do you tell papaya and mango apart without sniffing it or putting it in your mouth? How? They look almost identical. I mean, sometimes the papaya is a smidge more orange than maybe the mango you've got, but that just depends fruit by fruit, right? And so, does anybody have a suggestion on how to tell a mango and a papaya apart after they're cut up? I mean, I know how to tell them apart when they're not. Actually, that's not true. I saw some tiny, tiny, tiny papayas the other day that I thought were mangoes until I looked at them a little more closely. But for the most part, if they're not cut up, I can tell if it's a mango or a papaya. That's not really that difficult. But once they're cut up, how can you tell? How can you tell? And so, Andre, you do know if you say papaya in Cuba, you're saying something dirty. If you want a papaya in Cuba, remember to say fruta de bomba in English, hand grenade fruit. Huh, okay, well, I mean, I've got a lot of questions about that, actually. Like, first off, was there not papayas in Cuba before hand grenades? I mean, what was it before hand grenades were invented? What was that fruit called in Cuba? Right? Huh, interesting. And then I also have to say, I don't really think they look very much like hand grenades. I've seen other fruit that looks way more like a hand grenade than a papaya, but whatever. Okay, cool. Good to know that papaya is not necessarily something that I want to say in Cuba. But wait, so papaya is the name for female genitalia in Spanish, is it? Because, I mean, they speak Spanish in Cuba, right? Don't they? I thought they did. I mean, I know that they've got their own dialect and everything, just like every place has its own, thing. But, so, papaya is the name for female genitalia in Cuba, but what, I'm not arguing, I just don't understand why isn't that the case in Puerto Rico or in Mexico or in Argentina? I mean, I get... Oh, all Spanish is code words, so it's like slang, and that's what it is. Okay. Okay. Carl, it sounds like you probably have a foolproof method, but I can't do that method. Carl's method of telling the mangoes and the papayas apart is, I can just ask my wife, is it a mango or is it a papaya? Unless I can take your wife with me or FaceTime her. I don't know, dude. That's not help. That might be a useful trick for you, Carl. But I'm not so sure that's going to work for everyone. And Andre, yes, I think that mangoes are a bit more stringy sometimes. It really all depends on the mango, cuz like those honey mangoes they're smaller and they're more yellow. Those have a tendency to not be as stringy as the larger traditional golden, red, green kind. I'm sure you can tell what I'm talking about with my hands going like this, right? There's the one and then there's the one. And the yellow ones are more like this, and then the green and red ones are more like this. Yeah, those ones. The green and red ones can be stringy. And actually, the green and red ones, even though the taste, those are the ones I grew up on, and those are the ones that I do kind of like, or at least I thought I liked them. Those are also the ones that if I'm not going to be able to eat a mango due to texture, those are the ones because of the stringies. So let's see here. Oh, Andre, okay. I see what you intended to write. What you wrote is not this. But so Andre meant to write. Andre is handing Mad Statter a black papaya detecting service cat. Now, of course, what he actually wrote was serves cat. And for a second, I was going to be offended. I don't want any black cat served to me. I want to pet a black cat. But Andre knows me well enough to know that I don't want a black cat served to me. So service cat, that makes more sense. But Andre, unfortunately, I'm not so sure that a service cat of any color would appreciate being hauled around in my purse on my travels to the islands. I just don't see that happening. Don't see that being a success. In fact, the more I think about it, the more it's like, oh, that's why you don't see service cats very often. So let's see here. Kenny from the Cove, now you have the Jimmy Buffett song Last Mango in Paris stuck in your head. I did not know that that was a song. I mean, I've heard of Last Tango in Paris, duh. At least I think I have. But, yeah, no, Last Mango in Paris. I don't know that song, but that does track as what would be a Jimmy Buffett song for sure. I could see that. I could see that. And Andre, you'll rent me a service mongoose for the job. No. So, Andre, you can't stand the smell of mangoes, childhood trauma. Yeah, well, mangoes have a very unique smell, and from what I understand, the rotting mangoes definitely can leave a scent impression. Quite honestly, I don't know why I don't have any recollection of what rotting mangoes smell like, because we had a mango tree in our yard, and despite the fact that I ate pretty much every mango that came off that tree, or it seemed like I did, we know that I did not. And I'm sure that we had to have them in our yard, right? I mean, and I know that like our whole neighborhood had mango trees. Everybody had a mango tree in their yard. And so I can only assume my neighborhood must have reeked of grossness, at least some part of the year, right? I don't remember it though. So you must have all of the traumatic stink memory. That must have gotten transferred to you or something, Andre. All right, so yesterday on Statterbox at the cinema, we watched quite a tear-inducing movie called My Girl. And at the end of the movie, I said that I couldn't remember what movie we were going to be watching for Statterbox at the cinema this coming Saturday. And I finally remembered because I have my notes. And it looks like we are going to... let's see if I can even find it. No, I cannot. It looks like we're going to be watching a movie that Andre has donated to Statterbox at the cinema. And it's I think it's sort of like a mystery noir type Hawaiian film. And it's called, it's called Kuleana Maui, I think is what it's called. And I have never seen it, but it's a movie, that is by a Hawaiian director based in Hawaii, and it's gotten rave reviews. I'll do a little bit more research on it. So on Wednesday at Chatter Statter, we'll have a vague idea of what the flying fork it is we're going to be watching on Saturday. But it will be a Hawaiian-based movie. That much I can promise. And let's see here. Kenny's singing that I ate the last mango in Paris, took the last plane out of Saigon, I took the first fast boat to China, and Jimmy, there's still so much to be done. Okay, sure. Still, no, not ringing any bells. And let's see here. And Andre says the movie that Andre donated, he's just like, nope, never seen it either, but he's seen lots of good reviews about it. So we're going to be boldly going where Mad Statter has not gone before, and we can only cross our fingers that there will be no bare bums, because bare bums get Statterbox in the cinema in trouble. So, fingers crossed, there's no bare booty. Maybe I should pre-watch this movie to make sure there's no bare bums. Maybe we'll risk it. We'll see. But speaking of maybe we'll risk it, we'll see, and Statterbox at the cinema, etc. Last night, one of the plot threads of My Girl was a bit about the main character who had a crush on her teacher. She's 11 and a half years old, and she had a crush on her teacher. And so, okay, Aveda, bear bums or bear bums? Or bear bums? Exactly. I think bear bums are okay, but it's the bear bums that are not okay. Now, the bears, they're fine, but it's the naked kind bears. That's not okay. So, nope. Brown bear bum is not okay, is what we've learned. Men with brown skin who have bums, so, only one or two of those in the world. Yeah, that's not okay. And you meant gay male bears. Yeah, well, whatever. Whatever. And that's right. Kenny from the Cove is going to be sending us the best bear bum movie ever. And it's going to be full of the fuzzy bear butts. And fuzzy bear butts are almost as cute as corgi butts. And I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you love corgis. I don't care if you hate corgis. I don't care if you like dogs. I don't care if you hate dogs. When you look at a corgi butt for just a second, you go, oh, that's kind of cute. He's all fluffy and he's wearing pantaloons, is what you probably think. I know you think it. Pantaloons is what the corgi is wearing. Yeah, all right. Maybe that's not what you think. Maybe that's just what I think. Is it projection? Probably. But back before I got scattered on the bear bum topic and the like, I was talking about the movie last night that we had at Statterbox at the cinema. And okay, so my girl, there's a plot thread where she is in love with her teacher. So much so that she steals money to go to a summer school class that a child really should not be attending, but her teacher is teaching it and she wants to be near her teacher. So as we were chatting in the sidebar, I mentioned that has actually happened in real life in my neck of the woods. Andre, thank you so much for the 300 biddies. And a couple people seem to not know what I was talking about. And so I thought I would share with you a very strange situation that, first off, should never have happened. Second off, I hope does not happen again. Third off, despite the fact that this crime did have a happy ending, and a very happy ending, really, a better ending than some things that are started not in a criminal way, but a crime was committed by a teacher in my state. And if you are not familiar with the name LeTourneau, well, let me just tell you, the LeTourneaus are a family of teachers. And when I say a family of teachers, I mean you're looking at Mr. and Mrs. LeTourneau, not the same LeTourneau that we will be talking about. However, Mr. LeTourneau is the brother of the original Mr. LeTourneau that the Mrs. LeTourneau that we will be talking about was married to. So basically, we've got some LeTourneau brothers. They're both teachers. In fact, the whole LeTourneau family, teachers. One of the brothers marries Mrs. LeTourneau that you're seeing in the picture. Now, these are actually teachers that were my junior high school teachers. This picture I took literally minutes before the stream started. This is from my junior high yearbook. And by the way, do you want to know what I looked like in junior high? That's what I looked like in junior high. That's me in 9th grade. That's right. That was me. But these are the teachers, Mr. and Mrs. LeTourneau. The teacher family, they had teachers basically everywhere. The family was a very large Puget Sound family. And they all coincidentally were teachers, which is very unfortunate. Very unfortunate, because you see, this one teacher, MaryKay LeTourneau, she decided that she was going to teach 6th grade. No, you heard me right. 6th grade. For those of you who are in Canada, that would be known as grade 6. You know, sometimes it's a junior high grade. No, what is it? It's middle school grade sometimes. Elementary school grade other times. Grade 6. 6th grade. Yeah. Well, she fell in love with one of her students. And Andre, you did ask, how old was the boy? 11 or 12. And so, I would like to present to you the story of MaryKay LeTourneau and Vili Fu'ulau. By the way, the world is so small that this took place in my hometown, in the school district that my home is currently in. And not only that, they lived in this area, and, well, you'll see.
Her oldest son just a year younger than her new lover.
We had sex in the gym. We had sex in the girls' bathroom. We had sex in the classroom.
What she did legally was wrong.
I did something that I had no right to do, morally or legally.
She was a 34-year-old mother of four when she first slept with her 6th grade student. Her oldest son just a year younger than her new lover.
We had sex in the gym. We had sex in the girls' bathroom. We had sex in the classroom.
What she did legally was wrong. But in other ways, it wasn't wrong. We made a plan. The only way to keep us together was to have a baby. So the baby would keep me reminded of her.
It was wrong, and I am sorry. I give you my word that it will not happen again.
But just weeks after her release, she became pregnant again.
She was released in January of 1998, and less than a month later, Seattle police picked up the ex-teacher and the boy having sex in a car. This time, the judge showed no compassion.
This case is not about a flawed system. It is about an opportunity that you foolishly squandered.
She sentenced LeTourneau, pregnant again, to serve out her 7.5-year sentence.
She told me once that she loved me for the man I am and for the man I almost am.
Even though Mary LeTourneau has admitted raping him, he still insists there was no crime. An engagement ring. Does it say anything on the inside?
Yeah. It says, I'll be there.
Fu'ulau and his mother are suing the Highline School District and Des Moines Police, alleging they ignored warning signs that Fu'ulau was becoming sexually involved with his 6th grade teacher.
For every answer I got right on the test, she was going to take one part of her clothes or one of her clothing off.
MaryKay LeTourneau slipping out through a back door of the prison.
MaryKay LeTourneau has been released. She's no longer at our institution.
Your daughters are how old?
9 and 7.
Right. So do they both know this whole story?
They know that mommy's older than daddy.
I feel they have a really healthy understanding, both of them. They know that Daddy was too young and we couldn't get married, and there was a rule that was broken, and Mommy went for a timeout, a long timeout. I give you my word that it will not happen again.
Hey guys, welcome to Forward. We're a new type of doctor's office that's providing preventative.
They're typical teenagers wearing high school cheerleader outfits as they eat frozen yogurt and make funny faces at the camera. But these are the daughters of the nation's most notorious school teacher, the infamous MaryKay LeTourneau, whose shocking affair with her student, Billy Falau, began when he was in 6th grade. When the affair began, he was actually younger than his daughter's current age.
If one of your daughters came to you and said, "I'm sleeping with my teacher," what would you say?
What?
What? Yeah, okay.
It would be. I think it would be the same reaction that any parent would have. You know, if their child came up and said, "You know, I'm in love with my teacher."
What about if they said they were sleeping with anyone?
I don't know really how to deal with it.
MaryKay is now 53. Billy is 31. And they're speaking out in an exclusive interview with Barbara Walters airing Friday night on ABC's 2020. Believe it or not, they're about to celebrate their 10th wedding anniversary.
I don't know if enough time will ever pass where it will take away what the media did to our story, because it was so big and they ran with it so fast. There is a story of us that has a life of its own, but it's not our story.
Over the years, Inside Edition has followed the scandal as MaryKay became pregnant with daughter Audrey and served 7 years in prison for child rape. And we were there as Billy saw his second daughter, Georgia, for the first time after MaryKay gave birth to her behind bars. Now look at the girls today. 17-year-old Audrey graduates from high school in June. 16-year-old Georgia is a sophomore and sings in the school choir. They actually go to school in the same Seattle district where their mom used to teach. And Barbara Walters says they're fully aware of their parents' notorious past.
The kids say, "Well, yeah, we know what happened." You do? You know, Mommy and Daddy? Really?
Judging from the interview, the marriage has been rocky. Billy says he suffers from depression. We asked psychologist Dr. Jeff Gardier to watch the interview and give us his evaluation of one of America's most scandalous couples.
This has been, it appears, their lifelong mission, to show the world that it wasn't about a sex crime, that it was about legitimate feelings that they had.
All right, so, hold on. There we go. All right, so for those of you yesterday when I commented, oh, hey, there was a situation where 12-year-old and a teacher in my neighborhood ended up getting together and having 2 kids. And that basically is the story. Now, that's not the complete story, obviously. Those videos were taken quite some time ago. Billy and MaryKay did eventually end up getting a divorce. However, part of the reason for their divorce was the fact that MaryKay is a felon. And when weed was legalized in Washington State, MaryKay and Billy thought about opening or starting a legitimate cannabis business. I don't know if they were going to be growers, if they were thinking about dispensary, or if they were going to be processing. I'm not sure what the details of the plan were. But in the state of Washington, an owner of a cannabis business cannot be a felon. So they ended up getting a divorce, kind of for, I mean, he eventually ended up moving to California. They did split up. So there was multiple reasons, I think, for the divorce. But as far as the public face goes, their reason for divorce was so he could get into the cannabis industry. How true that is, I'm not quite sure. What I do know, though, is in 2020, MaryKay did pass away from cancer. And I do know that Villy came back up from California and spent the last couple weeks of her life by her side. And his, like I said, his daughters still live in the area, like in my neighborhood, not my neighborhood, but in my town. And honestly, as not okay as this is or was, because as Andre pointed out, such a double standard with this. Yeah, can you even imagine if it had been reversed with a male teacher and a female student? We know that the 7.5 years would have been a paltry joke. This male teacher would have gotten so much longer than 7.5 years. It's just not even, there's just no question. But despite the fact of all of these wrongs, I mean, there are so many layers of wrong in this story. They had a marriage for more than 10 years. They have some pretty well-adjusted kids. I mean, I'm not saying two wrongs make a right at all. But what I am saying is this turned out as good as it could have given the circumstances. And I also can say, which is once again an example of a super small world, there's a band that I've mentioned many times before on my streams called the Super Suckers. And the Super Suckers are, the Super Sucker logo is the inspiration for my Super Stoked emote that I've got here, right? Well, as it turns out, because this is how the world works, Villy was a huge fan of the Super Suckers. So I actually saw them at quite a few Super Suckers shows, and really, honestly, they seemed happy. They were a cute couple. I never went up and talked to them because, like, whenever they were at a show, I mean, they were kind of their own little local, everyone knows who they are in this area. So I wouldn't go as far as say they're local celebrities or were local celebrities, but they were local, they were local figures that people knew. And whenever they did go to the shows, people did go up and talk to them. Like, there was sort of always a little crowd by them. And maybe it was just the front that they put up when they go out in public because they know that that's what's going to happen. I don't know. I don't know what goes on behind closed doors. But what I can say is I have been in the same room with them more than once. They seemed like they were a happy couple. Please understand, how they became a couple is infinity times wrong. I am not justifying. I cannot emphasize enough. I am not shrugging my shoulders and saying, it worked out for them. That is not the point or the tone here. What I am saying is, as horrible as this started, the ending wasn't so bad. That's all I'm saying. But the beginning was so horrible that it's not worth the ending. Although I will, and I think we can all agree, 10-year marriage, shoot, dude. People who go into a marriage under much nicer circumstances sometimes don't last that long. So, I mean, maybe I am shrugging my shoulders, I guess. I don't really know. What's done is done, and it shouldn't be done again. And it's certainly not a template that anyone should be following by any stretch of the imagination. And Kenny from the Cove, so in the early days when they finished, what did she do? Read him a bedtime story? That's funny, but actually, I mean, what you saw what they did in one of the, I mean, you saw, if you watched the video, you saw what they did after they finished their second baby. They went and got arrested. I mean, they literally got caught in the act. She got arrested and sent back to jail. And that time, well, I don't know if it was that time, but I mean, in that time, she was only out of jail. I remember this I mean, I lived through this. I lived in the area when this happened. This was like an unfolding soap opera of jaw-dropping awfulness as it was just happening and so, you know, you hear about this horrible sex crime because that's what it was. It was a sex crime. You hear about this teacher who took advantage of this student. And frankly, if I was his mom, I would be so furious at her. I would have I thought this when it happened, and I still think this now. Oh, I would have come after her. I would have come after her with a sharp knife, I think. How dare she? How dare she? She knows better, right? You know, as a mother, I would be so flippin' angry. I mean, I'm not a mom, but anyway, yeah, soapbox moment there. But basically though, so she gets arrested for this. She gets put out. So she goes to jail for just a little bit. And then as soon as she gets out of jail, she goes and does it again. And they get caught in the middle of the act. So there is absolutely no question that they're doing it again. And she gets, you know, sent off to jail. So after the second time, at least, Kenny, that she got pregnant, what did they do when they were finished? Well, they went and got arrested. That's what they did. They went and got arrested. And let's see, Andre, we had one teacher in high school that was known for going out with the boys and nobody reported her because the boys liked it. Yeah, you know, I mean, and I'll tell you, you know, when it comes to like high school and like, you know, the guys are 18 and the teacher is maybe, you know, 25, it's certainly not okay. Should be illegal. The power dynamic is not level. But, you know, 25-year-old, 18-year-old, worse things have happened. Like a 34-year-old and a 12-year-old, you know? But still, though, it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. You know, like that teacher in your high school totally should have been reported. Absolutely. And Aveda, how long was she out before going back to prison? I don't know. Like, I think like a month or two. I mean, not very long. Like, not very long at all. And Andre, these guys were not 18, and she was at least in her 30s to early 40s. Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, it doesn't. Yeah, that's even uncooler. But you know, like I can see how, like in certain, especially like in the 70s when things were different. But this didn't take place in the 70s, what we just watched. But like, you know, in the 70s when things were different, I can sort of see how maybe, you know, it's like, 25-year-old teacher, 18-year-old student, people might look the other way. Not saying they should have, but I can see how that would happen. But yeah, under 18, dude, I mean, that's a teacher and they're under 18. Like that is, there are a couple rules that are being broken there. There are a couple rules that are being broken there. And okay, Andre, I'm not that old. It was the 80s, but it was Berkeley High School, right? Well, there you go. Oh, Michael, Kenny. No, the girls avoid you like the plague at every age. Well, you know, maybe first off, the girls, it's good that the girls avoid you because the girls are underage and you don't need no underage action. Now, if the women avoid you, that is a bother. That can be bothersome, but you want the girls to avoid you, my friend. That's what the whole video is about here. Don't want to get involved with the underage folks. So let's see here. Michael Anthony Smith, your dad thought that your 8th grade teacher liked you. You thought that he was tripping. Well, you know, I don't know. Maybe she did. You know, I guess some teachers are like that. But seriously, as an 8th grader, like, can you even like? I can't. I really can't even. I guess maybe because I never had a crush on a teacher, I just can't wrap my head around it. But like, there's just nothing about when I was in school. Like, teachers were just not attractive. Like, teachers were not. Teachers were not the rock star fantasy material that my brain went to, I guess. I don't know. Aveda, you thought that you were going to say that the interview of them was in the house I currently own? Oh, that would have been funny. Super small world. No, not, they had 2 kids. My house is only 500 square feet. They wouldn't have been able to raise those kids here. And if they did raise their kids in this house, no wonder they got a divorce. I would too. Raising 2 kids in a 500 square foot 1-bedroom house? Shoot, I'd divorce my partner, leave the state, and pretend like I changed my name. Get me out of this hellhole. Yeah. And Michael Anthony Smith, your 8th grade teacher was pretty, but she was mean. Oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, no need to have that crush on the mean teacher. I wonder though what it was that made your dad think that, because sometimes grown-ups, sometimes third parties can see things from the outside differently than, that's why, than you see. So that's why, you might have a crush on somebody and they might have a crush on you, and both of you are super too awkward to mention it. And then, some third party observer is just like, oh my God, you guys both totally like each other. Why don't you act on it? And it's like, what do you mean? They don't like me. And it's just, and the third party person's just like, oh yeah, they do. Oh yeah, they do. So, I don't know. I kind of wonder, I wonder what it was that your dad saw that made him think that. And Michael Anthony Smith, you'd love to know that too. Your dad was an empath. Yeah, see, there you go. I'm very kind of curious what it was. I'd be willing to bet that probably aren't going to get an answer, but And let's see here. Kenny from the Cove, you flunked Algebra 1 in the 9th grade because the redhead teaching the class was so insanely hot. You could not concentrate at all. Okay, well then I guess you had a little bit of a different situation than I did. You could probably imagine having a crush on a teacher. Yeah, there you have it. That's funny. Huh. I wonder how many F's she, Kenny, if she was that cute and she was a redhead, a lot of guys have a thing for redheads for some reason. And if she was as cute as you thought, I'm sure you weren't the only one who thought she was cute. And I'm pretty sure I'll bet you weren't the only one who had trouble concentrating. And so I just wonder if she had a higher rate of failing students than, say, another teacher, which also makes me wonder, I wonder how that would reflect on her performance reviews, in the sense that it would look like she's not teaching her students very well, but it's really nothing that she could help because, well, the students are not thinking about math. Anyway, that makes my brain sort of explode into a various and assorted wonder of, I wonder. But I do have to wonder if she gave more failing grades than the average teacher, just because, and I guess what I'm saying, I wonder if she failed more male students than the average math teacher, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I mean, I'm sure there's a couple girls who thought she was cute too, but I'm guessing it was the male students probably who had the, had the distraction levels at such a high rate that their hormones and higher math, as Kenny said, just didn't work out for me. And apparently, that's funny, Kenny, your buddy Mike felt the same way, and he flunked her class too. Now, I have to ask you guys, did you flunk her class in hopes that you'd get to have her as a teacher again? Was that your plan? Or how'd that work for you? Like, was that, did you mean to flunk so you could have her again? Let's see here. Andre, you flunked out of algebra because your teacher told me, why do you even bother to come here? So I walked out and never came back. So I had to make up high school algebra in community college. That sucks, dude. That was a really crummy teacher. That teacher really had a lot of that's a problem. That's the antithesis of how a teacher is supposed to teach. That's ridiculous. But I can say that algebra is not my favorite thing either. Algebra was definitely my most difficult math class. I took it in 9th grade. 10th grade, I took geometry. And then after 10th grade, I stopped taking math altogether because I knew that the college that I was going to go to, the only college I applied to, the only college that I had any interest in, did not have any math prerequisites. Part of the reason why I chose this college. And it also did not have any math classes that you had to take while you were there. And so I abandoned math in 10th grade and never looked back. And, you know, I haven't worked with numbers since. Except for when I was a mortgage loan processor and when I managed a tax office. So only the last, 25 years of my working life have I worked with numbers. Numbers, who needs them, right? Yeah, if I could only see me now, back then, I would have scratched my head and said, how did you get there? At which point I would have no real reason, or no, I don't know how I got here. I don't know. Let's see here. Oh, wow. It was a private. Let's see here. So Andre, you were saying that teacher was a teacher in a private hippie school and she was not mellow. That's what math can do for you if you're not careful. That's funny. That's funny. And Michael Anthony Smith, that is the most perfect, awesomely supreme flippin' flirpin' response you could have given to that flippin' teacher. Seriously, I'm like, yeah, I'm getting on a soapbox for Andre. That's right. I'm getting on a soapbox. What that teacher said to Andre kind of pisses me off. And Michael Anthony Smith says, my psychology teacher did that to me. And Michael Anthony Smith said back, you're admitting defeat. Oh yeah, there you go. That's exactly it. You're telling me that you can't teach me, teacher? You are admitting defeat. Go suck my big toe. There you go. Hey, Cindy Krause, how's it? We are talking about stupid teachers that are stupid and other things like that. We were also talking about MaryKay LeTourneau, but it has since gone into a direction of stupid teachers are stupid or something like that. So now you're caught up. And let's see here. And Kenny from the Cove. Okay, so Kenny from the Cove says no, that was not his plan, because back in that day, when you had to retake a class, you also had to take it with a different teacher. Your next algebra teacher was a guy that was so old he was there when they invented algebra. And I'm guessing that, Kenny, you might have passed that class. And let's see here, Andre, I had to get through statistics and had my one and only great and wonderful math professor in statistics. Well, that's good, because statistics can be kind of a pain in the arse. And let's see here. Kenny from the Cove, math plus words, letters, and sentences, just flippin' cruel. That is right. That is right. And so let's see here. Elaine is saying, I didn't think math was important, but I was in accounting, and so using fractions and measurements and geometry all the time. Exactly. Seriously. That is something that if more stubborn students like me and you were shown the life applicableness of random mathness, it might be more, it might stick better. You know, people might embrace the math a little bit more. Because I know that math had always been the sticky wicket of my education since I was in 4th grade. I remember the moment I remember the moment that suddenly math became a foreign language to me. Because before that, it was just like, well, you learn stuff, and the teacher was teaching well enough that you could learn it. 4th grade, I had a really crummy teacher who wouldn't explain to me this one thing that I, in retrospect, realized if she had just told me this, things might have been different. But yeah, 4th grade was when my math career exploded, and math became an insurmountable challenge that made me give up, which is really too bad. Because as we're talking here, with accounting, with sewing, with this, with that, with the other thing, shoot, you work in a gear shop as a gear grinder, you're gonna need to know some math. It's just how that works. And yeah, I know they've got machines for that now, but it still helps to be able to know how to do some things in your brain. And so let's see here. Michael Anthony Smith, well, stupid teachers are stupid, but sleep is good. And so I would like you to go night-night. And I'm not sure if you've got that early morning shift like you oftentimes do, but even if you don't, get a good sleep. And hui ho, my friend. Hopefully see you on Tuesday for Andy Bumatai's Daily Pigeon Live. And if I don't see you on Tuesday, maybe I'll see you on Wednesday for Chatter with Statter. Thank you so much for hanging out. I know that you've got a crazy life these days, and it's awesome to see you show face when you can. And let's see here. Cindy Krause, your daughter said that about her math teacher. That's awesome. And Andre, you work in education and will always listen to the kids because so many did not listen to you. Yeah, exactly. And see, you know what, though? That's something that not every grown-up does. I think that there's a huge amount of people that have grown up and literally have forgotten their childhood experiences, what it's like to be a child. And it's those ones who wouldn't listen to the kids, because I'm sure when they were little kids, they weren't listened to either, but they kind of forgot how that made them feel. Whereas you remember, like, if you just had listened to me, this huge problem wouldn't necessarily have happened. But no, you went and didn't listen to me. So right, now you go and you listen to the kids. Exactly. And I think that's super awesome. I hope that more people like you are working in education than it sounded like people like you were when you were in getting educated. And e-music on the ACT test, you guessed on the math questions by making patterns. You came in second in the state on that test. That is crazy, dude. Oh my gosh. Now, you know, I have a friend who took a test back in the day for military recruiting. I don't know if the draft was still, he's an older gentleman. I don't know if the draft was like still in effect. I can't remember the time frame. But anyway, he took some test that you take before you get recruited, and he didn't want to go. He didn't want to join. He didn't want to do nothing. So he just wrote B, C, D, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, the whole way. A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D were his choices for the answers. And his recruiter came back and told him that he nailed that test. He got one of the blah, blah, blah. And he's just like, you're so full of it, dude. You know, there's no way I could have passed that test doing what I did. Now, whether or not, you know, he did ace the test or not, that recruiter sure as heck made him think that he did. And by the way, he never went into the service. He left that recruiter standing on the beach. But still, though, the recruiter, full of crap, was just like, oh yeah, you aced that one. Oh yeah. So let's see here. Andre, your mom could not do math. She had 3 masters and 2 BAs, but couldn't help with math. But she did help with English and editing your papers, so she helped you get through. Well, that's good. That's good. And so let's see here. You like working with kids because you've got hope for them. When you deal with adults, you don't have that much patience. That's funny. Oh, Kenny. I don't know, now that you've said this out loud, we might have to share it in the chat. Kenny from the Cove warns us, says, I'm going to send an email with the "My teacher actually saw me naked" story. It's a true story, and I can decide whether or not I want to share it in the chat. That's funny. I guess I'll have to see what the story says before I decide if I want to share it. But what you've already said so far makes me think we might have to share this. Yes, yes. And Elaine, you loved literature, etc., but math is fairly simple, direct, and to the point. Mostly one answer, only not interpreted many ways. Dreamer has amazing imaginations. Numbers were so boring. Yeah, that is exactly it. Numbers were and are quite boring. Unfortunately, they really are useful. I mean, I don't really want to admit it, but numbers are useful. So I think maybe that'll be the lesson of the day today. Numbers are useful. Hey, and where? Are you super late or only 15 minutes late? You're not only 15 minutes late. We have got about 15 minutes left to go. So if you want to hang out for the last 15, we'd be stoked to have you, Anne. We were today talking about, let's see, what were we talking about? We're talking about teachers for the most part, basically. And I don't know if you are familiar with the story of MaryKay LeTourneau, but as inspired from last night's movie, which I know you only watched part of because the ending makes you cry. And I forgot how much the ending of My Girl just hits you one after another with tear-jerking moments. So I can see why you left early, and I hold no judgment against you for that. In fact, I consider you, maybe you were a little bit wise there. But part of that movie, if you remember, there is a thread where the 11-year-old has a crush on her teacher. And I mentioned that my hometown, Puget Sound area, had a true life story like that, only a little different. And yeah, we got to learn all about that story today. And now we're just talking about how teachers are stupid, because some teachers are stupid. But one person who's not stupid, that would be Andre, because Andre is gifting subs to everybody. Thank you so much, Andre. That is super awesome. And where you got confused on the time, that's okay. That's okay. I didn't get confused about the time, but we actually we did start the show a couple minutes late because I made some poor life choices right before the show, which caused a domino effect of lateness. So, you know, you got confused by the time. I made poor life choices in regards to time. Sounds like we're on the same page with time today. And Kenny from the Cove, the only two classes that I totally vibe in and completely owned the grade book were creative writing in the 9th grade and philosophy your freshman year in college. Nice. There you go. And so Andre, so Mad Statter, I now need to play Van Halen's Hot for Teacher. Oh, you know, that would have been a great thing to do, except for Twitch is totally cracking down on DCMA strikes right now. In fact, OG Sumo Vibe got a warning about his broadcast just earlier today. And so, and Twitch had warned the content creators that they were going to start getting a little bit more heavy-handed with copyright strikes. And I don't know how heavy-handed they are with everybody, but I do know that OG Sumo Vibe got slapped today. And I have no doubt in my mind that if I threw down Hot for Teacher, I'd be the second one getting slapped. So Chris Rock gets slapped, OG Sumer Vibe gets slapped, and I get slapped. Sure, we're getting slapped for different reasons, but too many slaps going around these days. So I'm not going to be throwing down Van Halen's Hot for Teacher. But actually, what I will be doing, hold on, I do have an idea. And I am right now just typing things on my computer, which is why there was a big splash of white on my face. And what I will do, though, yes sirree. What I will do, for those of you who are like, Hot for Teacher, what are you talking about? What we're talking about is this.
Most of their time.
I'm not going to play the video, but you can go watch the video on YouTube. And there you have it. So, let's see here. Oh, Andre, thank you for the 500 biddies. And yeah, Kenny from the Cove, Hot for Teacher is a good jam, which is why I just posted the link to the video. So if you guys want to watch the video after this stream is over in about 12 minutes, so don't worry, you won't have to wait too long. That is the link that you can do it in eMusic at UH Manoa Pastoral English class. We hiked Manoa Falls as your final. Well, that's kind of weird. I'm assuming you had to maybe write about the hike when you did it? How did that go? Explain to me, please, eMusic. I'm a little confused. I'm often confused, so that's really my baseline state anyway, but the hike was your final? You had to write about the hike, right? Let's see here. Andre, they would really get you if I played I Like Big Butts. Yes, multitude of reasons. That big old pear, or is it a peach? No, it's a pear, I think. In that video, I think it's a pear. No. I don't... No, maybe it is a peach. It would... Now I'm going to have to watch the Big Butts video. But yeah, there you go. I don't think that they would like me playing that for DCMA strikes and fake big butts. Fake big bear butts. Fake big brown bear butts. Bear brown butts. Fake big brown bear butts. That's why Twitch would get me. And oh no, what? Am I playing it? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I actually... Okay, should we just end it now? Because I can't believe I just did that. Alright, well, I'm gonna have to remove this. I'm gonna have to remove this now. Yeah, I went... I would like to remind you, I don't know what I'm doing. Ever. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Elaine, give it a few seconds. It should stop coming through. I have literally turned it off. I've shut down that page entirely. But if you want more proof if I don't know what the heck I'm doing, if you've noticed throughout the stream that it seems to be getting darker and darker and darker, yeah, it's because I forgot to turn my light on. I forgot to turn my ring light on. So, like, do I know what I'm doing? No, I don't. I made every effort in the world not to DCMA or anything, and here we are playing Van Halen over the airwaves. Sorry, Van Halen. I didn't mean to steal your music. I accidentally stole it. And I truly did accidentally steal it. All right, then. There we have it. Andre, thank you so much for the 1,000 biddies. Yeah, that's horror. Dude, I did not mean to do that. Twitch, are you hearing me? You Twitch algorithm, I didn't mean to do that. Thank you so much for pointing out that I was doing that, you guys. Yeah, all right then. Kenny from the Cove, if you're going to get a copyright strike, might as well be for a serious jam like that one. Yeah, there you go. Andre, it's the anarchist in me. Yeah, I guess there's a couple of me in me, and that anarchist was working in the background going, oh yeah, you think you know. Yeah, no, and I know exactly what happened. Yeah. I realize now where my error was, but oh well, learning experience, because as we all know, I don't know what I'm doing. And there you go, Anware. I didn't steal it. I played it for my personal listening. That's it. That's why I didn't notice that it was going, because I was listening. Yeah. So let's see here. eMusic. Your oceanography class trip to Coconut Island was used as your science requirement for graduation. That's awesome, dude. I don't know what Coconut Island is, and I've never heard of it. I'm going to assume it's somewhere in the Hawaiian Islands. But that sounds like a great way to get that little science requirement checked off. Totally. I don't understand. How do I have anything going on right now? It's that thing has been turned off. I mean, Lono music is in the background. Yeah, okay. Oh, Aveda, yes, you're back to Lono. Well, yeah, Lono music is in the background and has, in theory, been in the background this whole time. In fact, while Van Halen was playing, there was Lono music playing on top of it, so I guess one could argue I was creating my own mashup, and it was a unique entity. I'm not so sure that would fly, and I'm definitely not so sure that that's the truth, but I'll argue that. And so, oh good, it's just the Lono music playing. Yes, that we mean to do. Yes, we meant to do that. And Coconut Island is in Hilo, and it's it has a bridge. Okay. And let's see here. And Coconut Island is in the opening for the color versions of Gilligan's Island. Interesting. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go have to like look that up. And Andre, do not call me a DJ. That sounds like something that I know even less about than what I'm doing right now. And that's it, Aveda. It was a mashup. I was creating a mashup. It's a whole new piece of music, right? Not really, but we'll pretend. And let's see here. Okay, so so there's a couple Coconut Islands, it sounds like. eMusic is saying that the Coconut Island that I'm assuming they went to is off Kaneohe and is part of UH Science. We played volleyball and ate lunch, and that was your science requirement. Awesome. Yes, exactly, Aveda. Bipolar Lola is in Hilo. Bipolar Lola is a roller derby official that both Aveda and I know. If you are on the Hilo side of the Big Island and you are needing a haircut, a hairstyle, a hair dye, or just some fancy pantsness going on your hairs, go visit Lola at her saloon. No, it's not a saloon, it's a salon. At her salon called Lola. And so, yeah, if you're ever there and you need your haircuts, go visit Bipolar Lola at the Lola Salon and let her know that Mad Statter and NVS sent you her way. She'll know exactly who the flying fork it is you're talking about. Even though NVS, Mad Statter, who are these crazy people and what kind of names are those? Those are roller derby names. And Bipolar Lola, also a roller derby name. So she knows what's up. And let's see here. And Ann Ware. Now see, Ann Ware is speaking of the truth. This is the legitimate excuse. It was a mistake because I would never purposely play any music over Lono's music ever. That is true. Actually, that is very true. And if I do get yelled at for this mistake, if someone's there to listen, that will be the argument I will plead. Because no, given the choice between Lono and Van Halen, I would choose Lono. Or rather, I would never choose to cover up a Lono tune. I might stop a Lono tune so I could listen to Van Halen, but I would never do them both at the same time. That's not right. It's not right to either of the musicians. Okay, Van Halen's not a musician, but whatever. And so let's see here. Oh, okay, so eMusic, once again, coming in with with the facts on the Coconut Island of Hawaii. So Coconut Island off of Kaneohe, that would be the Oahu Coconut Island. Now the Hilo Coconut Island, which is island of Hawaii Coconut Island, that is called Mokuola? Mokuola? Okay, I'm gonna write that down because I've never heard of this and I want to look at that. So, fantastic. Mokuola is the Coconut Island in Hilo. So, in case you're wondering, now you know. And let's see here. Okay, so looks like we've got about 3 minutes left. And for the first time in my flippin' flirpin' life, I actually remembered that maybe we might want to raid somebody. And so I'm wondering, does anybody know if there's anybody we should raid? And I'm going to go get on Twitch to see. So if you see big flashing lights on my face, it's because what my computer screen is doing. And it looks like, oh shoot, dude. It looks like Terry in Scotland is running his bus on Twitch. And so I think we might raid Terry in Scotland today. If you guys haven't hung out with Terry in Scotland, he has a couple different styles of stream. I think right now he's playing the European Truck Simulator. Other times he plays movies. And when it is the European Truck Simulator, basically he's acting as though he's driving a tour bus along some route in Europe. And the graphics in this particular driving simulator are so flippin' realistic and so true to the area that you are in. There have been times when I have come in to Terry's stream when he was doing the American Truck Simulator, and he would be driving along a route in America, and I would not know where we're at, and literally I would come into the stream and I would just be like, oh my gosh, are you in downtown Olympia right now? And boom, yeah, they were in downtown Olympia right then. That is how realistic these flippin' graphics are in this simulator. I've never been to Europe, so I can't say that the ones in Europe, the Europe simulator is as realistic as the one that I've seen from the US, but it's the same creators, it's the same game people, it's the same methodology. And I'll tell you what, I have seen a lot of the United States highway system, and every place in the US that Terry drove that I had driven on, I was just like, yep, that's exactly what it looks like. So I have some good faith that Terry, or that the European driving simulator, is probably pretty true to course as well. So what we do basically is we ride in the back of that bus and we have a chat party in the back. Terry's talking about stuff. Terry plays some music. It's called the party bus. Sometimes it's called the farty bus because sometimes the jokes on it are a little bit, shall we say, juvenile, but you know, whatever. We've all got 12-year-old brains. That's why the farty bus is so funny, right? It is kind of funny. He's even got fart noises. So we are going to raid Terry at the end of this stream. But first, it looks like we've got some stuff talking about some stuff. So what is it that Kenny from the Cove has to say? There's a coconut island off the southern coast of Nauert Island, not in the Hawaiian chain. But the Nauert, I don't know how to pronounce Nauert. I'm going to say Nauert. Islanders call it Fisherman's Speck because it's so small. Interesting. Okay. And let's see here. It looks like eMusic is saying that the Coconut Island, or actually the real name, Moku Ola, has been closed for a while to protect the turtles. And Andre says they really should rename it Turtle Island because there's so many turtles there. And Ware's popping in with the best part about Terry's tour bus, which I don't know how I forgot. Sometimes Terry does run into things, and because it's, you know, just a driving simulator, you can run over people and you can run over cars. And if they kind of piss you off, well, you can run into them again. And so, I kind of think that that's part of the fun too. And Terry definitely delivers when it comes to running into stuff. In fact, that's one of the funnest parts about the whole game is when he runs into stuff. I don't know how I forgot all about that. And let's see here. Andre, thank you so much for the 400 biddies. And eMusic is telling us that we should try to check out Big Island Video News for everyday news from the island. I'll have to put that on my YouTube list because I watched the news feed from Honolulu, and they cover, you know, most of the islands, but not Big Island specific. So that sounds like a good YouTube channel to check out. And let's see here. Okay, cool. So it looks like we've got some agreement on Terry with Scotland. And so I am going to hope that I remember how to raid somebody, because I don't do it very often. One thing I do know, though, is when you're going to raid somebody, if their name is Terry in Scotland, don't write Terry with Scotland, which is what I just did. And that's not right. But I think I'm going to do this right now. I think I've got it correct. And so... Oh, yeah! I did it. I did get it correct. So we're going to raid in a little bit. And I want to thank everybody for all the biddies. I want to thank everybody for hanging out. And I want to thank everybody for the gift subs. And so I hope to see you on Wednesday at Chatter with Statter. Let's go raid Terry.